You're just picking up some information that an Accra High Court has dismissed the case filed by gold dealership firm Menzgold, challenging the powers of the Securities and Exchange Commission to regulate its activities. My colleague Joseph Akable joins us from the court. Joseph, what were the details given for which this conclusion was arrived at by the court?
Well, so Ben, first a bit of background to this particular matter. It is the case that the gold dealership filed against the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Bank of Ghana. You recall this was at the height of the engagement between the two entities and the Menzgold when concerns were being raised about the process they were going through. They had alleged that they were affecting their business by trying to regulate them. In fact, one of the issues they raised was to the effect that SEC and BOG could not regulate them, and by interfering in that business and asking them to halt their operations, it was affecting the ability to generate the dividends to provide for their clients. Now, what happened was that the defendants, which is SEC and the BOG, filed a counter application. In that application, they asked that the court throws out the case. Their argument was to the effect that there's a procedure that one has to go through with the regulatory agency. If you still agree, you need to exhaust the alternate dispute resolution mechanism. You don't just rush with the matter to court and allege that your rights have been breached, for which reason you think the court should interfere. So the court this morning in this ruling held that indeed the gold dealership should have exhausted the internal remedies before rushing to drag the two regulatory agencies to court, for which reason the rest was dismissed.
All right, and do we have lawyers of Menzgold present in court?
No, the lawyers, they exited. They were actually present for the ruling, but they exited a short while ago. I also have been trying to interact with the public relations officer for the company. He was also present in court during the ruling, and I've been asking him. He said later in the day, the company will be issuing a statement on that matter. I know the question you'll be asking next is about the whereabouts of Namwan.
Exactly.
It's a question I also put up to him, and he said that, he's not speaking to that particular matter. I asked him, do you know where he is? He says, I'm not speaking to that particular matter. Only to say that later in the day, they'll be issuing a statement on this particular decision that is coming from the court. As to whether an appeal remains an option is one thing that will remain to be seen.
Thank you. Grateful for the details. Joseph Akable there in court for us. Well, let's pick government reaction to this development quickly. And we've been joined by the Minister of Information, Kojo Nkrumah. Good morning, sir. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, Bennett.
A lot has been happening in the last a few hours after we received news that an alert has been sent to all quarters for the arrest of the Menzgold CEO. But how does government react to this and what we are hearing from court right now?
So, Bennett, first I was informed that there's the University of Ghana survey report that you wanted me to react to. So those are where my reactions were going. But I think
this came as if you may want to call it a breaking news story or news just coming in. So we just wanted to pick your reaction on that, and then we move on to the survey report.
That's fine. I think the matters concerning Menzgold are currently in the hands of the security and the law enforcement agencies, because customers of that organization have, to my understanding, made complaints that they believe that they have been defrauded by false pretenses. That's why I think the security agencies have triggered an Interpol alert, because they also have been, as part of these reports, been given information that there's suspicion that the directors of that organization are not within the jurisdiction. And as I also listened to the head, I think, of the CID, they have triggered it in over 140 countries, and they expect to find these persons and go through their investigation. So we would all look forward to how they conduct these investigations and how persons who have suffered, may I say, some losses at the hands of this organization will have their issues addressed in accordance with law.
Finally, on this matter, Mr. Nkrumah, how would you react to those who say they are disappointed in government's attitude, if I may put it, in dealing with this problem from the onset?
And specifically, which of government's actions are they disappointed with?
For example, they say that, well, we should have gone in swiftly to close down the company when issues around their registration and what they were really set up for came into the public domain, instead of just the BOG sending out notices warning customers to not to deposit money in Menzgold. They were expecting more from government with regards to this.
Well, so to such persons, I think the point needs to be made over and over again that when, as far back as 2014, the regulatory agencies, namely the Bank of Ghana and the Securities and Exchange Commission, noticed that the practices of this organization were similar to deposits or asset-taking institutions. They did two things. They issued an alert that they suspect that they are taking deposits or assets, and that persons should not take deposits or assets there. At that time, the customers of these organizations said no, they were not taking deposits and assets there, and that they were giving this organization money. This was a trading organization that they were giving money to purchase a commodity, hold that commodity, sell that commodity, and then repay the amount that they had deposited or made available to them, plus a share of the profit to them. The Bank of Ghana at that time, therefore, did not have the legal power to do anything, because customers and the company had both explained trading and not deposit taking. I am very sure that if any one of them had, honestly told the Bank of Ghana that indeed this company was taking their deposits, the Bank of Ghana would be seized with the material fact to intervene. Bank of Ghana gave those alerts, commenced their own investigation, but as you heard the Deputy Governor say on your own platform, there was no transparency. They could not see into it. And the people in the contractors, in the customers in the company, kept giving the answers to the Bank of Ghana that it was a trading transaction. Today, the people involved in the contract are now saying that, yes, they gave monies to this company to buy gold, but they are neither getting their gold nor their money. And therefore, they've made reports that they have been defrauded by false pretenses.
Okay.
And it becomes a matter that the security agencies therefore now have to take up and take through the investigative processes and get resolution to. I noticed that some persons are saying that the Bank of Ghana should repay their monies to them. And the Bank of Ghana has explained that to the extent that this is not an institution licensed by the Bank of Ghana, unlike, for example, in the case of DKM, or even in the case of some of the banks that have had challenges, because they were registered under Act 930, the Bank of Ghana could repay their monies to them. Okay. In this instance, the law does not allow the Bank of Ghana to do that. And I think the customers have taken the appropriate legal route by reporting to the security agencies, who have therefore proceeded to trigger an alert to find the person and to commence an investigation on what has happened with these transactions that they contracted to do.